Have you heard of a report called the World Happiness Report? And guess who's been at the top of that report for years and years running? Finland. And guess what number the United States is? 23. I wonder why that is. This is going to be a very interesting video. This is why Finland and Denmark are happier than the U.S. And it's by a little channel, not so little, but got like 2 million subscribers, called CNBC Make It. I will include the link in the description so you can head on over there, do all the YouTube stuff, and help them out. This is going to be a good one. Before we get going here, go ahead and like the video. That really helps a lot. Let's see what we can see.
What makes me happy is...
I think I was definitely born happy, and then life happens.
I'm getting a bit emotional here.
I feel very happy.
Very happy.
I'm happier now than when I lived in New York, and I got paid probably twice as much in New York as I do here.
Our happiness is kind of like quiet happiness, kind of a stillness.
Dang.
What does it take to be happy? The Nordic countries seem to have it all figured out. Finland and Denmark have consistently topped the United Nations' most prestigious index, the World Happiness Report, in all 6 areas of life satisfaction.
Wow.
How have they cracked the formula? And are the people there really the happiest?
Well, this is really interesting. I mean, if you've been watching the channel long enough, or you've seen me out, we have other channels and everything, and you may know a little bit of my story, but, you know, I was a part of the rat race in the United States. I worked a lot of hours because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. It's a sign of success, and you become a manager, and you manage all, you know, hundreds of people and all of those things. I did all that, worked a lot, worked hard, had the stresses of, you know, just the pressure of paying high insurance, high car notes, and all of these different things. So I definitely know. And then you come here, and, you know, what makes me happy on a Tuesday is to wake up and hang out with my wife for 5 or 6 hours at a cafe and just drink coffee, talk, hang out. And it's just so much happier, a lot less stress. So I'm going to be curious to see, you know, what they have to say. I already know I'm going to have some stuff to add to this for sure. That's why you're here, right? You want to see my reaction. Hello.
The United Nations just named the happiest place on Earth. It is not Disney World. It's Finland.
In 2019, the World Happiness Report named Finland the happiest country in the world for the 2nd year in a row. Denmark came in 2nd place after claiming the top slot in 2013 and 2016. Year after year, Nordic countries like Norway, Iceland, and Sweden round out the top of the list.
And by the way, just before this video, I did look, and Finland was #1 again. So that was 2000. I think she said 2019. So they're still #1.
Enter Jeffrey Sachs, a professor at Columbia and the co-editor of the World Happiness Report.
What do those countries have? They have a high level of prosperity, to be sure, but they're not the richest countries in the world by any means. The idea is a good balance of life. You don't have to get super rich to be happy, they believe. In fact, if someone's super rich, they look, what's wrong with that person? So they're not societies that are aiming for all of the effort and time to becoming gazillionaires. They're looking for a good balance of life, and the results are extremely positive.
The annual...
That's true. I mean, not to get into my personal, you know, finances much, but I will say that, you know, I did take a huge, I guess, pay cut to move here to Spain. But, you know, it costs a lot less. I mean, in the United States, I was probably spending $350, $400 a week for groceries for a family of 4. And then I come here and spend about 80, 90 euros a week, maybe 120, because we got to go back and get water a couple of times during the week or something like that. But I mean, it's significantly less, and we don't need to make as much. You can have, you know, lower stresses in your life and have a better quality of life. at least in my personal opinion.
Happiness ranking began in 2000.
I'm back up a little bit.
They're looking for a good balance of life, and the results are extremely positive.
The annual happiness ranking began in 2012, but we can trace measuring happiness back to 1971.
It came in the inspiration of the country of Bhutan, a country in the Himalayas that many people know for its innovation of attempting to measure gross national happiness.
Globally, a standard for measuring success and productivity is gross national product.
Bhutan had the bright idea of trying to measure happiness.
Measuring happiness is a fairly complicated business. First of
Right.
all, we need to understand what happiness means.
It means the satisfaction with the way one's life is going. It's not primarily a measure of whether one laughed or smiled yesterday, but how one feels about the course of one's life.
Right. That's true.
Meet Mike Viking, happiness researcher and CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Denmark.
There's a lot of factors that impact happiness, everything from biology to income levels to the city they live in. But I think the best predictor we see in the data of whether people are happy or
That's cool. I like how you spelled his name.
live in. But I think the best predictor we see in the data of whether people are happy or not is whether they're satisfied or happy with their relationships. So do we have somebody we can rely on in times of need? Do we have somebody we can share our hopes and worries with?
These six
That's
categories
interesting.
help account for the differences in life satisfaction around the world. GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy,
Yeah.
freedom to make life choices, social support, generosity, and absence of corruption.
On average, richer countries are happier. On average, richer people are happier. But once we get to a certain level of income, additional $100 a month is not going to impact how people feel about their lives. So with
true.
money, like with everything else, we see diminishing marginal return.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, don't get me wrong, though. I'll take some money. but I think it would allow me to do stuff like come and, go over to France or, the Netherlands or Germany, places like that. That's what I would use it for. That's what I'm going to use it for. But yeah, I hear what they're saying. It's like if you're making, I don't know, 100,000 a year, what's 101,000? So is that really going to make that big of a difference? I don't know. I see what they're saying.
And I don't know why I'm bringing up this quote because it's extremely corny, but there is a Kanye West song in which he says that having money is not everything, not having it is. And I do think that's true in the sense that when you don't have it, it's all you worry about. And when you do have money, you can actually worry about other stuff.
Kanye West. We quoting Kanye West up in here? Oh, boy. That's a great quote, though. That is a great quote. And I think what he said was important, so I just want to back this up here.
And when you do have money, you can actually worry about other stuff.
Yeah. That's
Happiness also seems like this elusive thing. We have two words for happiness in Danish. So we have hygge, which is the elusive thing, the thing you experience once every blue moon. And then we have to be glad, like the word glad, which is different because it's more down to earth, and you can be glad despite the fact that it's not anything special. It's no special day. Hygge seems like this elusive thing that you can't quite chase. To be glad is more like our mindset. So I feel more like I choose to be glad at times rather than sort of trying to chase happiness, because that seems like it's never gonna happen that way.
That's interesting. That's true.
Maria lives in Helsinki with her husband Duke and her 2-year-old son Luca.
Oh, cool. Cool name.
Aha, yeah, there it is. There it is, little monster.
Finland is the best place to have kids. When you go give birth, it's almost free. We stayed in the hospital 3 full days as a family. We had our own family room and we got like meals and support and help and everything. And the bill was about 300 euros in the end. It's basically like living in a hotel.
In Finland, new mothers receive a free baby box jam-packed with 63 items to help with the baby's first year.
You don't have to buy anything for the first 2-3 months. Of course, diapers and stuff like that, but basically. And also, you can actually put your baby to sleep in that box. Our baby actually, Luca, slept in the box for the first month.
Finland.
That is unbelievable. And that is a huge deal. One less thing you have to worry about. Remember, you know, we had family, fortunately, but we were definitely living on our own when we had our first son. Yeah, we were living on our own when we had our first son. So, and it's stressful, man. We didn't have a lot of furniture. We didn't have all that stuff. We had a place, which was good. But, you know, not if we knew we didn't have that stress, man, that definitely would make you happier, for sure.
Along with the other Nordic countries, offers generous parental leave. Anu Partanen, author of The Nordic Theory of Everything, spent 10 years as a journalist in the US before returning to her home country, Finland. She's also a mother.
In Finland, you get 10 months of paid parental leave, out of which about 4 months is set aside for the mother, and you start it before the baby is born, and then father can keep 9 weeks.
Typically, both parents stay home for the first 3 weeks. They share the rest of the time until the baby is 9 months old. A parent can even stay home until the child is 3 years old and keep his or her job. However, the stipend is much smaller.
Another determinant of well-being is one's sense of personal freedom to make important life choices. Can you shape your life the way you want?
Christina was unhappy at her job in advertising and took an 8-month break.
Social security is also something I think is very important. What I did didn't make me happy, and it
An 8-month break. An 8-month break. That's crazy. In the U.S., I would say, I mean, maybe speaking from personal experience, it was, I mean, I was afraid to miss a weekend. Just, you know, I shouldn't say that. I was afraid to take, like, say, a 3 or 4 day weekend. Not afraid I'm lose my job, but, you know, you do start to worry that, well, if I'm gone too long, somebody has to do my job. Is that person going to do my job better than I can? Are they going to end up taking my job or something like that? So that happens. I remember I had jury duty one time. And, you know, after being involved all the time, I was a manager. So I was involved on a daily basis. But jury duty, it was like a murder trial. And I was there for, I mean, all day. And it was in Oakland. I was in California. So before I got to my job, which was in Fremont with traffic and everything, I mean, I wasn't getting there until 7 or 8 at night. And then I had to wake up the next morning and go back to jury duty in Oakland. And I lived in another city. So, you know, after a while, I stopped going. I was on jury duty for like 4 or 5 weeks. And when I came back, it was like nobody even cared that I was there. And, you know, and it just so happened that I was leaving like a couple of weeks after that anyway. But it was, I don't know, this is a perfect example of how, you know, those 8 months would not have happened. That is crazy.
didn't let me have that work-life balance that we cherish so much here. And so we have a system that made it possible for me to quit my job and have some thinking time and figure out, you know, what's my next step in life.
Christina received about $2,000 a month from the Danish government while she was unemployed. She is now in school to become a painter. Her tuition is covered, and she receives an educational stipend of about $1,000 a month.
Oh my God.
Two of the biggest perks of life in Denmark and Finland are free education.
Oh, I mean, sorry to keep pausing. Okay, just calm down, okay? I'm pausing it because I got something to say. But, oh my God. But I have about, I'm telling my business, so you're really glad. Good thing you're watching this channel, so now you get to learn something other people don't. But I've got probably $200,000 in school debt. And they have no school debt because it's taken care of. I mean, I have friends who paid $80,000 a year, no loans or anything, for their kids to go to school. I mean, think about that, $80,000 per year, and that's just for tuition. Doesn't include a place to stay and all of that. So, and for her to get paid $1,000 and not have to worry about school. That's something else that makes you happy. That would make me happy.
And free healthcare.
Income taxes are not at all as high in the Nordic countries that Americans tend to think. However, overall, it is completely true that the Nordic countries collect more taxes in general than the United States does.
Yeah.
In Finland and the Nordic countries, there are higher taxes on consumption, like eating in restaurants and buying jeans.
But the thing that I think a lot of Americans forget is that the Nordic people are happy to pay those taxes because they get services in return. Daycare, great public education. It includes your college, tuition free. It includes healthcare. All of those are included in your taxes.
Oh, God. Therein lies the problem, in my opinion, in the United States, is that people want to pay less taxes because they don't want to pay more taxes to have the government, decide where the money is going to go. So they would rather have the private sector, or, they believe that the rich companies are the ones that are going to do the right thing and take care of their people. And that's the problem. And it'll never happen in the United States. You will never have a situation where the government takes more taxes and people happily pay more taxes because they know they'll be taken care of, because people don't trust the government. So, no. You see why I left? Yeah. I pay a lot of taxes here in Spain too, but that's the cost I have to pay for living here, and I'm like people over there. I happily pay it.
The news hit that Finland is the happiest country in the world. I think most people kind of reacted to it like, what are they talking about? We don't think of ourselves as very happy because it's dark and gloomy in the winter and whatever.
It's easier for Finns and Danes to shape their lives because the government supports so many of their basic needs.
The American dream is probably more alive in Denmark. The perception of freedom is probably also a little bit different. It seems like in the US, the feeling is you have to be protected from the government and you have to have freedom from the government. I think in Denmark, the sense is that the government protects you.
People trust other people. You leave a bag in a restaurant in Finland, you're pretty sure you're going to make it back and the money is still there.
People even leave babies parked in strollers outside coffee shops while they run errands.
And I think partly the Nordic society cultivates that trust simply by providing basic services for everyone. So there's much less poverty, much less feeling of injustice, inequality, crime.
That's interesting. We kind of had that here in Spain. My wife and I were sitting at a restaurant the other day, and the family walked up, family of like 4, and they had 2 little kids. They were probably 7 and 5 or something like that. And the kids just sat at a table while the parents went inside to order their food. And we were like, there's no way you would do that in the United States. No way am I leaving my kids out there. I'll sit here, you go in with the kids and order, or, you sit here and I'll go in with the kids, I'll go in by myself and order, something like that. We're not leaving the kids out there. But that's what they said they do here. And I believe it. I believe it.
People get the education they need. They can have a job, they can work, they don't have to struggle in life as much.
There isn't super wealth, and there's absolutely no super poverty. Everybody participates. It turns out it leads to a wonderful kind of life, and one that is expressed year after year as making these countries the happiest countries in the world.
Monica and Alex are expats who live in Copenhagen with their 2 teenagers. Alex is originally from the UK, and Monica is originally from New York.
What else do you need? Olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Where's the bowling?
We originally came here expecting to stay only 3 years, but it was so good. I've been here 9 now.
It's also safe.
Oh, wow.
And this comes back to the community and the trust. We can let our kids go out. We do not have to sit here being really worried that, are they going to come back? Are they safe where they're going? Do we have to go pick them up? You still worry, of course, but it's just very different. There's still this very strong sense of family, friends, community.
Balance is the formula for happiness. Aristotle had it right when he launched the study of happiness 2,300 years ago.
Oh, wow.
According to Aristotle's golden mean, good behavior lies between two vices, excess and deficiency.
People who pursue only money and say, I'll be happier the richer I am, turn out to be less happy.
I do think having nice surroundings is a part of happiness, but I also think it needs to be linked with something that sort of resonates with you on a deeper level. Having nice surroundings and having a lot of money and being in a 5-star hotel in Las Vegas doesn't make you happy at all. So I think it needs to have that balance.
Cue the classic.
Yeah, it doesn't make you happy at all. And I would say the majority of it in the U.S. at least, or probably in a lot of places in the world, I guess. No, probably more in the U.S. It's just status. You know, to be able to have your nice expensive bag or be able to stay in a nice hotel or drive a super nice car or something like that. You know, to be able to say your car is 120,000 or something, like it's just a status thing.
Nordic work-life.
So I think it needs to have that balance.
Cue the classic Nordic work-life balance. Rich Perusi, former New Yorker, has been living in Copenhagen for 7 years.
People stay pretty tight to a 9-to-5 workday, but I do think that we get as much done in a short period of time here as we were doing in longer times working in New York.
One of the comments we actually heard when we first came here was a Dane saying that when you see someone working late, are they doing it because they can't get their work done? Is there something wrong with them versus are they just trying to get ahead and working? There is a sense that yes, work's important and you need to get your work done to a high quality, but you also need to make sure it's balanced appropriately.
I would say I can speak to this because this is who I was. So I would say there was a certain pride in being the last one there, the first one there, and the last one to leave. So it was like you never finish all of your work. I mean, you can always find something else to do, you know, especially in the position that I was in. So, you know, I don't know. I think it was just probably another status thing. You just want to, you know, you just want to look good. I mean, you're the manager, you're in charge. So you want to develop a culture of people who work hard. So, man, I learned a lot since I've been here, but that's how I used to think.
Sara Alhupuro is a diplomat and an artist who has shaped her work schedule to make time for her passion.
So I actually need to go to my physical workplace only 3 days a week. So then the rest of the time I can spend here in the middle of nature.
Oh my God.
When I walk in the forest, I walk there very quietly, paying attention to all the small details and all the colors very slowly, and I try to spot all the small details. And I completely lose the track of time. Usually I spend about 5 to 6 hours picking mushrooms.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, look at that. That looks like a
People don't make as much money in the Nordic countries as they do in the US.
So it's not really about how much you make. You don't have to make as much to get the same quality of life as you would in the United States.
So if we look at the dimension called life satisfaction.
That's interesting. So, yeah, that's about right. But in the United States, you probably have to pay. I mean, I know that for health insurance, just for my wife and I had an employer that was supplementing some of it, I was paying $1,000 a month. So that's $12,000 right there. And on top of that, I had a procedure that the insurance company did not accept. They thought it was like like a voluntary procedure. They didn't think it was required. And it was on my heart. So, of course, I was going to do it. And that cost me, in addition to the $1,000 a month that I was paying, that cost me $25,000. So, and that's just on the insurance. Then I had a car insurance that was probably $400 or $500 a month. You know, and here in Spain, our health insurance is like $250 for all four of us, $250 a month. But car insurance over there was ridiculous. My cell phone bill, I mean, you can just go down the list, you know. So anyway, that 45,000 doesn't mean much. It's just what you have left in the end is what matters.
So if we look at the dimension called life satisfaction, we can see that money does matter for well-being and happiness. But I mean, on average, richer countries are happier. On average, richer people are happier. But the mechanism here is being without money is a cause of unhappiness.
Not everyone likes to talk about money either.
In Finland, it's been this kind of rule that you don't talk about money that much. At least like my parents basically wouldn't tell me how much they made, for example, if I would ask as a kid. It would be considered bragging if you would tell about how much you make, etc.
People are happier when they are generous and when they feel that the society that they're in is a generous society.
Right. Yeah.
And then we find people want to live in places with decent government. If government is corrupt, if leaders are bizarre or autocratic or corrupt, the society is unhappy.
In 2019, Finland elected the world's youngest serving prime minister, 34-year-old Sauna Marin.
What the hell? Wow.
Danes are among the happiest people in the world, but they're not necessarily the friendliest. Lars A.P., author of Effing Flink and founder of the movement of the same name, wants to change that.
So Effing Flink is a national movement. Our prime goal is to take Danes that are among the happiest people in the world, but also being the friendliest people in the world. Why are we doing this? Well, because friendliness and positive human interaction means so much to us. Science shows us that. And
I definitely need some comments on this, because this is something that is interesting, because I would think that they would kind of go hand in hand. Like if they were happy and didn't have so many worries, then maybe they wouldn't, then you would think they would be nicer. But I do remember that lady saying that she didn't think that they were happier. So maybe they don't think they, you know, it's overcast and dark all the time. And so they don't think they're happy. So they're just, you know, they don't treat you nicely, maybe. I don't know. I'm curious to know what you think. But I will say that one of the reasons, I thought this at the time, but I didn't say it. One of the reasons that that lady probably doesn't think they're very happy is, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine it's because they haven't lived in somewhere like the United States. So it's almost like you know, like I used to live in Las Vegas, and you don't realize that you could just go down to the strip at any time where people spend thousands of dollars to come and visit. It's like when you're there, you don't even realize how good it is. So maybe that's what she's saying. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just curious to know what you think about that. Why people are not as nice there.
so we're trying to do that in all sectors and all realms that we can think of.
Finland and Denmark both have populations of less than 6 million people. The US has over 330 million people. The Nordic countries are pretty homogeneous too. Do population size and diversity affect happiness?
A lot of countries with relatively homogeneous population similarities among people ethnically or in terms of religion and so on are not very happy, so it's no guarantee. And on the other hand, it's possible to have a lot of diversity and more happiness. Our northern neighbor in the United States, Canada, ranks higher.
Yeah, I think that Finland is probably one of the most homogeneous countries in Europe. Still, we have recently had quite a lot of immigration, but I would say that still it is fairly homogeneous.
I think it's funny because I kind of always, I guess, assumed that Danish society was kind of diverse, but then we went to see Dave Chappelle's show here in Copenhagen, and both him and the guy who he had with him as support kind of opened their show saying Denmark is so white, and I never really thought about that before, but then ever since that show I just think about it all the time.
Oh wow.
We've been having immigration for hundreds of years from all over Europe. I mean, in the 70s we had a lot of people from Turkey coming up. from Vietnam. We had people from Yugoslavia in the 90s, and Denmark has remained happy throughout that period.
The 2018 World Happiness Report explores happiness among natives and immigrants.
Oh.
It shows that when immigrants are happy, the countries are too. But if the country is already happy, new immigrants will experience increased happiness.
Oh, wow.
It shouldn't undermine happiness in the Nordic countries that there are influx of people born abroad.
There's also a dark side to happiness.
Like in Denmark, one of the biggest epidemics right now is stress and people being sick with stress and having to leave their jobs.
Really?
And people outside of Denmark didn't really understand what that meant. Like, what do you mean stress leave? But it might be that expectation to have a work-life balance here that stresses people out, that you both have to work, but you also have to take care of your family, you also have to be social with your friends, you also have to, you know, do this self-realization thing, hobbies and traveling, and there's so much you have to do in the same amount of hours, whereas maybe in New York or other places, you know that you're gonna work to 10 every day, so you don't expect to have the same balance, you know?
Oh, that's super interesting. So if I heard her correctly, it's almost like she's saying that there's almost like this expectation that you live a happy life, you know, and the things that make up that happy life, and trying to achieve that expectation stresses you out. Oh, wow. So, you know, like some of the stuff she was saying, like going and hang out with friends, and it's like you have this, you know, expectation that this is what you do as part of our happiness, but trying to live up to that is stressful. Is that what I'm hearing? I think that's what she's saying.
It can be hard for outsiders to break into the Nordic cultures.
Oh, yeah.
The Danes have such tight-knit friend and family groups. It's not very natural for them to just include people, new people into their groups.
It is a little harder when you come in from the outside to sort of become part of that group. We've had some great Danish friends, some met at work, but it is harder, I think, on that side compared to the UK and the US in terms of developing friendships.
I can see that.
There can be serious side effects to maintaining high levels of happiness.
Within the States, if you look at the level of life satisfaction, the higher the life satisfaction, actually also the slightly higher the level of suicide rates. And the theory here is that it might be more difficult to be unhappy in an otherwise happy society because it creates a stronger contrast to how you are feeling if you are surrounded by very happy people. So Denmark actually used to have really high suicide rates. So in 1980, we had suicide rates of around 40 per 100,000, which was, I think, some of the highest in the world. Now, fortunately, it's around 25% of that, so it's around 10 per 100,000.
South Korea and Lithuania have some of the highest suicide rates in the OECD as of 2017.
So fortunately, suicide rates have been reduced a lot in Denmark. Also in Finland, there's also been a great reduction over the past few decades. But still, it's not zero. So we still need to reduce that even further.
Despite mental health challenges, a big part of Finnish culture focuses on overall well-being.
Sauna is a sacred thing for Finns. I have like so many good memories about having these sauna moments with my family.
Sauna is something that I suppose you kind of have to like and love as a Finn.
What is this? I mean, it looks like a sauna. Sauna. I like how they say that, but what? So this sounds like a thing.
That I suppose you kind of have to like and love as a Finn.
As of 2018, there were 5.5 million people living in Finland and around 2.3 million saunas.
My grandmother always used to tell us kids that we can't fight in the sauna because then we would risk angering the sauna elf. And there's even a sauna in the government of Finland where they say that they make some of the most important political compromises because you're culturally not allowed to fight in the sauna.
That is super cool. It's like a culture thing, a national thing to go to the sauna, as they say. And that probably means you're not paying for it or anything like that. I know in the U.S., I mean, they're usually at gymnasiums. I see those a lot. You know, maybe a massage parlor or something like that.
Danes have mastered the art of comfort and coziness through hygge.
I think the best short definition of what hygge is the art of creating a nice atmosphere. And of course, that is something that happens everywhere. But what is uniquely Danish is we have a word that describes that situation.
You can curl up in a couch and read a good book and have good music on and just be in a hyggekrog. It actually means a hygge corner of your room. There's a social component to hygge, which I think is really important.
Hygge seeps everywhere throughout the country, from cozy drinks to warm lighting.
So one concrete manifestation of hygge is the focus on lighting. The rule of thumb is the warmer the light, the more hyggelig the light. So Danes love candles.
So how does hygge contribute to happiness?
So happiness is both having a strong sense of purpose in life. It's also experiencing moments of pleasure on a daily basis. It's also feeling satisfied with life overall. So hygge is this element in our daily lives where we experience comfort and pleasure and togetherness. And hopefully over time that accumulates also to a higher sense of life satisfaction.
I can see that. I like in the mornings when I wake up, you know, I go into the living room. I don't like to turn on the big overhead light. I have a little lamp because it's just, I don't know, it just feels cozy. So I could definitely see that. So, yeah, and that makes a big difference, man. How you feel makes a huge difference.
Another way Denmark and Finland support their citizens? Paid annual vacation.
So in all Nordic countries, everybody has a right to paid annual vacation. It varies a little by country, but in Finland, for example, it's typically after you work 1 year for the same employer, it's 4 weeks in the summer and 1 week in the winter, and everybody gets this.
Oh my God.
I actually heard a statistic. It's something like when Americans go home after work October 27th, you guys have worked as much as Danes will work for the entire year. But I actually think that taking a little more time off also makes you a lot more productive.
Yeah.
In Finland, it's traditional.
Wait, 5 weeks paid, 4 weeks in the summer. Oh man, that would be amazing. I mean, my wife, we've said on other videos, like we had paid vacation, but we didn't hardly take it. I can tell you that. So, I mean, I think when she left, she had, I don't know how, like all of her vacation. I mean, they paid her out and gave her whatever the vacation was, but like we just didn't take vacations. And then it was like when we came here, you know, because the only vacations we did take, like it's a big deal. So you plan it. So there was really no like 3-day weekends, 4-day weekends, you know, where you would take vacation on either side of the weekend. You know, you planned it out. So it was like a week, 10 days. And so then we came over here and we weren't used to the idea that I could just hop on a plane and go to, you know, France and I could just do like a 3 or 4 day weekend or something. We were just trying to plan for the 10-day trip or something when, you know, it's not like that anymore.
To spend the summer in a summer cottage or mukki.
We did have a summer house when I was little. It was something that my grandfather built himself during the 60s, I think. And we used to go there like all the time when I was small. A week doesn't go past during the summer when I'm not thinking like, oh, I wish we still had it.
Traditionally, the mökkis wouldn't have necessarily electricity or running water. And usually most mökkis come with a lake or the Baltic Sea. You can go to your sauna and have a dip in the water.
Oh, wow.
So in a Nordic country, the vacation time also serves family.
What the, was that guy like
have a dip in the water.
Bottoms?
So in a
he's
Nordic country, the vacation time also serves families that if the parents stagger their vacations a bit, they can handle much easier the summer vacations for their children. And of course, then the family can spend time together.
Yep.
Maybe Finnish happiness is more like inside, you know, it's like inner peace or something like that, that it's not so open. It's like a balance. It's more balance, I think. So, ready.
Oh, wow.
Ultimately, happiness is relative.
Yeah.
If you think you're having more sex than your neighbor, then you're happier. We are social beings. We compare ourselves to each other. So there are social comparisons in salary, in terms of the houses and how successful we believe we are, but also in terms of sex.
So, what's one small way we can be happier today?
Wait a minute. Is it just me or was that random? He just threw in a little piece about sex. Thought that was kind of funny.
So, what's one small way we can be happier today?
For me, something that I've done which has made me happier is exercise.
I think the saying no or being a tiny bit more selfish can make you happy.
Yeah.
One step to improve your sense of happiness is go first. So you're walking down the street, someone else comes walking towards you. It might be just a smile. It might be just looking the other person in the eye, whatever it is, but go first with that, because you can't expect that the other person is going to do it. Don't be reactive, go first.
In Denmark, we sometimes talk about the ABC for mental health. If you want to boost your mood, 3 sort of universal tips is doing something active, doing something together with other people, and doing something meaningful. So gather a group of friends, go for a walk. That could be something that could boost your mood.
I bet you their life expectancy is longer over there too. I remember watching a show on Blue Zones where they studied zones. I think at the time it was only like 7. And they had like a large percentage of their population had people that lived to be 100. And they asked them, and it had to do with diet, activity, friendship, because you have somebody to rely on. It's like you feel like you have to get up, you have to be there tomorrow. So a lot of what he said is, you know, they had purpose to their lives. So it was super interesting. There was only one in the United States at the time, and I think it was in California.
Predicting the future on this is very difficult, unfortunately. Where will the U.S. be? It could be even worse than now. It could be much better than now. It's a matter of actually making choices for a better direction for the country, and one that is not guided by fear and hate, but one that is guided by a sense of community and the common good.
Well, he would be sad to know that it definitely has gotten worse over there, and all those things is guided by fear and hate and everything. So it is a mess over there. But that was a really, really interesting video. There was some interesting stuff that came in there. Like, it's almost like, you know, they are super happy, but it's not everything that you expect it to be. I totally understand why. I agree that I would much rather live there than to live in the United States. There's a lot of things here in Spain that are much better for me and my family that I would say make us happier. I'm Greg. Thanks for joining me here today. Like the video on your way out. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.